Daniela.
Welcome, everyone, to Mayor Daniella Levine Cava's value-based procurement launch. I am Jason Smith. The Mayor's Director of Equity and Engagement. It seems like just over 5 months ago, we were here in a room similar to this, announcing the launch of Mayor Levine Cava's Thrive 305 action plan. And that action plan, yes. That action plan guides the administration's work to build our economy, engage our community, protect our environment, and ensure that equity is built into all of our programs. Organized by the Mayor's Senior Advisor, Rahelwa de Jesus, Thrive 305 was a first-of-its-kind initiative and one of the most robust community engagement programs ever undertaken by Miami-Dade County government. Today, we'll learn how Mayor Levine Cava is keeping her word and her promise to implement the Thrive 305 action plan as it relates to government contracting. So, ladies and gentlemen, with no further ado, it is my honor and my pleasure to introduce to you County Mayor Daniella Levine Cava.
Okay, thank you. It is great to see everybody here today. Thank you so much. Standing room only at the Miami-Dade County Library. So good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining all of us today for this very important conversation about how we are making county government more inclusive, more equitable, but also a better partner for small businesses, workers, and the environment. From day one of my administration, I've integrated a focus on equity into every aspect of my decision-making. And I'd like to take a moment to recognize all of the elected officials who've joined us here this morning. If you could please stand to be recognized. That includes our wonderful Vice Chair and Commissioner Higgins. All right. Very good. So glad you're with us. Nowhere is this more important than in the decisions that we make about where to spend your hard-earned taxpayer dollars and how to provide the highest quality of services to our residents and to our businesses. Through procurement and financial decisions, we can take a big share of our county's $9 billion budget and reinvest it back into our community where it belongs. In today's presentation, I look forward to introducing our new values-based procurement process and how you and your business can get involved. Together with the support of leaders like our Board of County Commissioners and our community advocates, many of you represented here today, we can keep jobs local, we can fuel local entrepreneurship, we can improve workplace conditions, and we can grow Miami-Dade's economy from the bottom up. I know Vice Chair Oliver Gilbert and Commissioner Eileen Higgins are here. We've recognized them, and both are great defenders of small businesses and workers, and I am very proud to have worked with them on these issues since the beginning of my tenure, and I look forward to continuing the work together. At the heart of my administration are my guiding principles, what I like to call the 4 E's: equity, economy, environment, and engagement. Through transparency and the extension of our services to businesses of all sizes in every community across our county, we are ensuring that true equity is at the center of our local government and its work. New and exciting initiatives like this one are helping us to drive and support our county's economy, creating jobs and building infrastructure for our future. Our environment is our economy in Miami-Dade County. And so protecting our water and Biscayne Bay means growing jobs and tourism in Miami-Dade and delivering a better quality of life for all of our residents and our businesses. But all of these efforts must come with active and deliberate community feedback and buy-in. And that's why we are continuously engaging with our residents and stakeholders through conversations just like this one. We've been proactive with our engagement with the community, launching the first of its kind Thrive 305 engagement effort that reached almost 27,000 of our residents through surveys and community conversations. And based on those responses, we were able to adapt and focus on their interests and priorities through an action plan released last year. One of those priorities was ensuring that the county procured goods and services using a values-based system that supports workers and the community. My administration got to work to make that community priority a reality. So today, we are announcing a major step towards achieving a key priority of that action plan regarding increasing equitable local small business contracting and procurement at the county. So I am very proud to announce my administration's adoption of our values-based procurement program to increase small and local business participation and to improve support for workers in county contracting and subcontracting. Through this program, businesses will have access to contracts that build the future and serve the diverse needs of our residents. Values-based procurement will center on small and local businesses, their contracts and subcontracts, engaging businesses in new ways, improving working conditions, and prioritizing environmental consideration in the county's supply chain. The acquisition of goods and services and the contracting with vendors for architectural, engineering, and construction services are critical to support the operations of your Miami-Dade County government. So while many are not aware of the complexity and importance of this process, procurement plays a very significant role in the economic sustainability of our community. Miami-Dade County awards over $3 billion annually in goods and services, professional services, and construction projects. It's about a third of our overall budget. So that's $3 billion that we can keep in Miami-Dade County for our county's businesses, and we can use it to power jobs for our residents. Currently, there are over 1,800 certified firms, which account for over 3,000 certifications in the programs of small business enterprise, disadvantaged business enterprise, airport concession, disadvantaged business enterprise, and local developing business. And over the past 3 years, 86 of these firms that were certified in these programs have grown and succeeded, and they are no longer eligible for the extra preferences and benefits that they received in those programs. So together with Commissioner Cohn-Higgins, we're exploring the creation of a transition program for mid-sized businesses. Last year, over $1 billion was paid of that $3 billion to small business enterprises, or SBEs, under the guidance of Gary Hartfield. Our values-based approach to procurement will result in additional spending on local and small businesses, improved worker conditions, and increased focus on environmental concerns. We will expand our impact, and we will build community wealth and good jobs in this process. As an anchor institution, Miami-Dade County has a significant impact on our local economy, and we have an opportunity to use these funds in a way that will maximize these benefits to our community. So over the next few slides, I will briefly overview my 10-point plan to reform county's procurement system in order to uplift the local economy, support our workforce, and protect our environment. We've been working on this for many months, and we have received feedback from multiple stakeholders as well as a cross-section of county staff, and we welcome your continuing feedback. So starting with DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, As I've previously discussed, diversity, equity, and inclusion are at the center of my administration, with the creation of the first Office of Equity and Inclusion in the Mayor's Office, a key motivating factor for creation of this values-based system, led by Jason Smith. We're making our government more responsive and proactive through implementation of these values. We are also increasing local participation. We're reviewing the scope of every proposed contract for goods, services, and construction and asking the tough question: how can we ensure this proposal includes more local and small business participation? This has been a legislative priority for our county commission as well. A cross-departmental team of county staff is meeting every week to review every departmental proposal to ask these questions, ensuring that across our government we're able to integrate this approach. And we have also devised a values-based checklist for frontline purchasing staff to use as they consider purchasing needs for each of their departments. This means that at every level of our government, from department directors to procurement staff, we are looking to support local and small business. Worker conditions are a critical part of our values-based procurement. We're treating people with dignity and respect, and it is a core value for my administration. And that is how we will rebuild trust in government and deliver for our residents. We're working to ensure that those values are reflected in our purchasing to the full extent possible. And one major example of this was our negotiation with Yulin, a large employer and service provider at the Miami International Airport. With the support of our local unions, we were successful in securing many more job protections for our hardworking airport employees, and I want to highlight Commissioner Eileen Higgins for her efforts to protect our workers at Miami International Airport. Truly, we want to ensure that the county supports good-paying jobs that include adequate health care and sick leave benefits, and I want to thank Vice Chairman Gilbert for sponsoring the legislation that expanded paid sick leave to our contracted security workforce. Moving on to resilience, we want to ensure that the county's procurement program prioritizes green purchasing. We can make a big impact on our local economy and protection of our environment as we decide how to spend our tax dollars. So, for example, we're expanding our purchase of electric buses and fuel-efficient vehicles. We're increasing our electric charging infrastructure. We're modernizing our county's fleet, and we're putting sustainability at the forefront of our efforts. And I want to thank Jimmy Morales, our Chief Operations Officer, for helping us to oversee all of this. Thank you. And and our Chief Finance Officer, Ed Marquez, for making sure we could pay for it. Okay. We'll be ensuring adherence to our green procurement guidelines across all departments. These guidelines already exist. So another critical part is to speed up the process, reduce the time, and we all know that time is money. Right. That deserves applause. I think so. Money, money. Our procurement processes are complex, and they are governed by layers of regulations that may put obstacles in the way of getting the job done. So a values-based approach to procurement is intended also to cut red tape and increase transparency, equity, and opportunity. So I have directed our procurement team to provide me with recommendations on how to reduce the time to purchase goods and get contracts fulfilled as quickly and efficiently as possible. The County Commission is working on policy improvements as well in this area. I've also directed all county departments to faithfully implement the county's prompt payment ordinance, which requires county government to pay vendors within 14 days of it. Yes, very heartfelt. We hear you. within 14 days of an approved invoice. And in this respect, Miami International Airport is our model department. We'll seek to replicate these practices throughout county government. Through the Miscellaneous Construction Contracts program at MIA, we walk vendors through the invoicing process to ensure that invoices are paid promptly and accurately. The county's expenditure on capital improvement projects puts in place the infrastructure to beautify our neighborhoods, to increase safety and mobility, and to make our county a regional and national model for smart development. They also provide an opportunity to reinvest and re-energize our community. I directed my Chief Operations Officer, Jimmy Morales, to convene all county departments every week to review funding opportunities from the bipartisan infrastructure law. This way, we can funnel as much federal money into our community as possible and truly build back better than ever. We're submitting funding applications for projects which address immediate infrastructure needs in our community and address overlooked communities as well, focusing on equity, resilience, and federal priorities. From rural South Dade to North Dade and east to west, in coordination with our cities, we'll be investing in local construction firms to complete the work. We need you. Very good. We've also implemented a new software program in our small business division and throughout the county enterprise, which has improved our reporting, and we're procuring additional contract management software to improve our contract tracking. For local business, we must work to increase participation by local entrepreneurs in the communities where they live, where they work, and where they spend, as a means of putting our residents first. So local small businesses have asked for additional outreach efforts to train them and local businesses on the county's procurement processes. And we heard you. In the coming months, our small business division will roll out increased training and engagement opportunities for our local and small businesses. For our vendor-friendly initiatives, through the leadership of our Small Business Innovation Manager, Danilo Vargas, my office has partnered, let's give it up. My office has partnered with FIU and with other additional vendors for a training program that you can attend in multiple languages, virtually and in person. By the way, Strive, it's miamidade.gov/strive305. We're committing to fostering innovation and growth in our small business sector to keep Miami-Dade County moving forward with investments in our homegrown entrepreneurs. Let's give it up for you. So if you have a small business and would like to do business with the county, I urge you to contact us. That's miamidade.gov/strive305 to learn how we can help you. On goods and services, thanks to sponsorship from Vice Chairman Oliver Gilbert, the county adopted nearly all of the recommendations from the Goods and Services Task Force to increase bidding opportunities for small businesses, a very important step forward. And this will help us achieve an equitable dispersal of county contracts throughout every community and neighborhood. I'd like to just say before I mention our procurement disparity study that we know some of our large employers also do a good job making sure that they can subcontract, and this is about subcontracting as well, and we want to just make sure that all of our contracts reflect these ideals. So on the procurement disparity study, Miami-Dade County was among the first jurisdictions to adopt race and gender-conscious procurement programs. However, these programs were challenged and invalidated in 2 separate federal lawsuits. So despite the implementation of a small business program, many women, Black, and Hispanic local businesses are still facing difficulty obtaining county contracts. And to fully understand how we can improve, we must carefully study our current processes. That was the direction of the court and the right thing to do. So we're conducting a procurement disparity review to determine what inequalities still exist between our local businesses and our procurement system, and this is a significant step towards creating a more equitable procurement system. And I want to thank the South Florida Black Prosperity Alliance and the Miami-Dade County NAACP for advocating for this study and working with my Office of Equity and Engagement and Internal Services to start this work. And today, I am reporting that the procurement disparity study is finally underway, and it will be completed by 2023. Yeah. And once completed, I look forward to sharing our results with all of you, as well as learning from you any suggestions for moving forward. So, thank you for listening and learning about our efforts to reimagine the way our county does business. If we lead with our values first, we can create a more resilient, a more prosperous, and a fairer community that will benefit all of us. The 4 E's of environment, economy, equity, and engagement should not be just words. They must be guiding principles if we want a stronger, more inclusive, and more resilient future. So to conclude, I want to reiterate that our local and small businesses and our larger businesses seeking to subcontract, Miami-Dade County is open for business, and we want to do business with you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mayor. That was great. Thank you so much. Another round of applause, please. That was really good. Very excited about this. We're going to be facilitating a panel discussion in 1 second. I'm going to bring up my colleague, Jason Smith, to do that. I'm Alex Munoz. I'm the Director of the Internal Services Department. I just wanted to take a quick moment to thank Gary Hartfield, which you heard mentioned with the Office of Small Business Development, and his team. Namada Upal, which is traveling and couldn't join us today, and the strategic procurement team, and I see them over there in the back. Hey, hi, everybody. Thank you so much. And it was a great honor to work on this and taking that vision that the mayor gave us and to help craft it into the plan that she wanted. And so many people worked on it, but just thank you to everybody that did work on it, and thank you to everybody that will be working on it as we continue to implement it. We've had many successes already, which is great. So with that, I want to also just bring up the panel members. Thank you all for being here. We have some county commissioners as well as some of our vendors, which we're very, very happy to work with. So as I call you, you could come up. Of course, first, Vice Chairman, Avler Gilbert. Thank you. These are our champions already. Commissioner Higgins. Thank you so much. And since I know we have questions will be coming from the attendees, the media, I'm going to say their names so you know who they are as they come up. Makiba Gassant with Gassant Enterprises, thank you so much. Nino Claris Prieto, Toner Cartridge, thank you, sir. And lastly, Irvin and Lilium Headley with Bilmer with Advertising Specialties. Thank you. Now I'm going to bring up my colleague, Jason Smith, to facilitate the panel discussion.
Some chairs in the front. For those of you standing, please, you're welcome to fill in. Please come join us at the front.
Okay, so as Mr. said, we wanted to just open it up to questions. I know we have some of our media here. Oh, I'm sorry, I got that out of order. First, we're going to go and we're going to have some comments from our attendees as we go through. Yes, Commissioner Gilbert, we're going to start with you just to talk about some of the priorities and your vision.
Good morning, everyone. Listen, let me just thank the mayor and her administration, my colleague, Commissioner Higgins, Makiba Gassan, the Small Business Task Force, Gary Hartfield, everyone who put work and effort into this. It is important that we understand just fundamentally our economy, who we are, is built on small businesses. It is. I mean, when you think about it, it's the people at your cleaners, it's the people at stores, it's the people who are putting towels on your house and laying towels on your floor. It's all of those people, it's all those folks. And in the abstract, it's great, but when you aggregate all that stuff, that's actually how we live. And I'm happy to see the Greater Miami Visitors Bureau here, because it's not just goods, we're a tourism town. And so we have to be inclusive in small businesses, small local businesses, in all of those areas. When we were recently in Israel, one of the things that I said then and I say now is we need to understand that as government, we have to move at the speed of business. We have to understand how you work and help you work best in that way. And I think that how we do that with regard to procurement is so very important. When the mayor says value-based procurement, what she's saying is these are the things that we hold important to us. And how you truly determine what you really, not just what you say is important, but what we know you believe is important is what you're willing to pay for and where you're willing to spend your money. And if we're important to us, our neighbors, our community, the small businesses here, we should do a better job at actually spending money with them. And I think this is a great step towards that direction. So thank you all very much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. Commissioner Higgins, please.
Hi. Good morning, everybody. When I think of county procurement, we use the word county a lot, but county is meaningless in this case because it's actually the residents' procurement, right? Our county is you and everybody who isn't here with us today, because that is what government does. We collectively do things that individuals can't do together, right? I can't build my own park, but we can all come together to build our own park. And so as we begin to look at, as a government, as a county government, how do we take the people's needs and translate that into actual projects that we build? We need to make sure that the procurement process involves the people that live here, because people are also making up small businesses, locally headquartered businesses. They're also doing the work, right? And so for me, values-based procurement, as I began to think deeply about it when I became a commissioner, at the forefront of this is how are we allowing the people doing the work to be treated? And let me tell you, when I, you're sitting up here now with a new set of vision, but we did not used to have paid sick days for a lot of our county contracts, and that is shocking. It's inhumane and it's unacceptable, because there's not a single resident of this county that would say, I don't want to have paid sick days. And so how can we possibly be taking the people's money for the people's contracting and the people working on them, and those folks don't get paid sick days? Or how could we possibly allow someone to not provide health insurance when we're using the people's money? And as the mayor alluded to, I learned a lot of this by doing some deep, quite frankly, like on the ground, on the tarmac investigation at the airport. But there are a lot of ways we can revise how we write our RFPs to make sure that the people doing the work are included, valued, respected, and treated as the residents they are. And I'll give you some examples of where it can run amok, right? You can have somebody that bids and they look qualified, but none of their workers are full-time. They're all part-time workers. And why are they doing that? Well, because then they don't really qualify for health insurance, do they? Or they may not qualify for the benefits. So there's all kinds of subtle things that we can do, like look at on larger contracts. Well, what percentage of the workforce is full-time? Is it 20% or is it 80%? Well, if it's 80% full-time, that's a responsible employer that's trying to make sure that their employees get the benefits they deserve. They're not trying to undermine it by bidding to the bottom. A race to the bottom on prices is a race to the bottom for our people. I can tell you I do everything every day to make sure that doesn't happen, and I am thrilled that I now have stronger allies on the commission and an amazing leader in the mayor to stick up for the people when we're doing the people's procurement.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you very much. Ms. Cassant, Cassant Enterprises.
Good morning, everyone. Such a pleasure to be here. My name is Makiba Cassant, and I am the owner of Cassant Enterprises. And what a time it is today when we have leadership and commissioners who are all about sustaining, growing, and bolstering our local economy. What a tremendous opportunity it is to be here today. And I sat on the task force, Goods and Services Task Force, that, worked effortlessly to bring forth recommendations for the county and how to improve conditions for not only small businesses, mid-sized businesses and businesses based here in Miami-Dade County. One of the things we worked on particularly was to increase the threshold of the amount required to set aside business specifically for small businesses, and also to reduce the number of firms required so that we can get those sheltered markets and say, look, the people here in Miami-Dade County can do the work. I think it is such a tremendous opportunity to be a part of the small business community here. Miami-Dade is a very special city, especially in this post-pandemic economy where, we are hungry. We're ready to get to work. And I love this idea of value-based procurement because it also speaks to the vitality of our economy and where we're seeking to go in the future. So I'm looking forward to, I'm currently a contractor, and we're looking forward to more opportunities to expand with Miami-Dade County. I am a living, breathing proof of, the hard work that we all, put together, and we, strive as small business owners, as entrepreneurs, to, get that work and grow our business. So what a tremendous opportunity it is. I'm so happy to be here today, and I look forward to answering any questions.
Thank you, Makiba. Thank you so much. And then Mr. Clares Prieto with Toner Cartridge.
Yes. Good morning, everybody. My name is Nino Clares Prieto. My principal language is no English. I am going to try to explain our point. Thank you, Mayor, for the big opportunity for all small business in Miami. Thank you so much. And SBE department, thank you. Especially Luis Guardia helped me for many, many years. For 25 years, we are sold office supplies and toner to all office in Miami-Dade County. We have a good team. We have technology, experience, and technologies to get the big contract. We have the competition, the Office Depot. Office Depot is a big one in the United States, but we are the experience and the solution easy for all departments. All right. Anyway, I have the people in charge in my department, my company. The name is Luisa. She's going to help me continue our company, please.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. We just want to thank, again, SBE for helping us and the mayor for helping our small business. Like he said, he's been in business for 27 years. I've been with him 25, supporting the Miami-Dade County and the public schools as well. So basically, we thank all of you for helping us and for keeping the business here so that we could continue to grow and we could continue to give food to our table to our employees and our families. Thank you.
Permiso, señor Clares Prieto, si quieres decir algo en español, por favor, un momentico.
Yo sé que el tiempo es oro. Y yo sé que muchos aquí saben también, quizás no lo hablen, pero entienden el español. A un refugiado le es muy difícil llegar y explicar sus experiencias. Llegué en el 95 con los balseros y gracias a Dios y a mi familia y a mi padre estoy aquí.
Amen.
Es muy complicado el tiempo para poder explicar, pero la percepción de todos ustedes, aunque no hablen mi lengua, me comprenden y saben que ha sido difícil tener dinero para poder comprar y para poder vender. Y yo sé que el Mayor ha hecho un buen trabajo en buscar los fondos para continuar la labor de muchos que ya no están en el poder, continuarlo y desarrollarlo. Y la tecnología es lo que se va a imponer aquí en Miami. Y tenemos un website que se llama biggestbook.com. Thank you for my propaganda. Biggestbook.com is easy. All departments can use this website and place the order easy for everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Muchas gracias. Great story. Thank you so much. And lastly, Mr. Headley with Bill Moore with Advertising Specialties.
Good morning. My name is Irvin Headley. I'm the president of Bill Moore with Advertising Specialties. We are a small family-owned and operated promotional products company. We've been in business for close to 40 years here in South Florida.
Wow.
And so we have experienced a lot of the hills and valleys with regards to procurement. Dade County has been a supportive, a rock that we've always been able to look forward to doing business with. They're one of the largest organizations here in South Florida, and we look forward to the opportunity of continuing to grow business. And with some of the new initiatives that I am hearing, that I too worked on the task force, and we're really pleased that a lot of those suggestions and recommendations that we made were heard and is being taken care of. My wife is here as well. She's been the backbone to the company as well, Lillian Headley. I'd like to recognize her because and we have a second generation of Headleys coming in. My daughter Christina and my son Andrew, who is a graduate of UM. He got his master's from UM. And hopefully we've been able to lay a foundation. They're here working with us, hoping to continue to develop and grow our business and Dade County as well. Thank you so much again for having us.
Thank you so much. Now we're going to open up. I'm going to bring up Jason Smith, Office of Equity and Inclusion, to facilitate the question and answer.
What a great panel of experts and policy experts. So at this time, we will accept questions from the audience, and we have our communications team who will go around with the mic. But you know, as we prepare for that, I wanted to give the mayor an opportunity. It occurs to me that, you know, you all are sitting under the sign that says "Open for Business," and you know, last week we lost a champion of our business community, Mike Finney, who is the executive director of our Beacon Council. And so I wanted to give the mayor an opportunity to reflect on that and what Mike Finney meant for our community, because he was certainly slated to be here today.
Thank you, Jason. Mike Finney was an extraordinary human being. And, you know, these are the things that are being said about him that I hope were said to him in his lifetime. And so for me, after a week deepening my friendship with him in Israel during very wonderful but intense circumstances, I just feel so blessed to have had that extra week. We've worked together, but we really got to know each other on a different level. So for everybody that you love, make sure you take the time. Life is so fragile, so fleeting, and truly this man will make a mark on this community for decades and decades to come. We give thanks for him and for so many others that we love. We just need to take the time. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Hello, how's everybody doing? How you guys doing? My name's Omar. I'm the mayor of El Portal. I want to say thank you, Madam Mayor, for everything that you do, as always. I think the 10 categories is very important. I think also the way that it's tied into Thrive 305 is extremely important. Thank you to all the panelists. Thank you to the commissioners. I have one simple question, Madam Mayor. You answered it when you were up there, but I think it's worth repeating. If anybody wants to get started with this process, if anybody wants more information, the website is miamidade.gov/what?
Strive 305 for your ongoing support, but also our SBE program is represented in the back with a table. So
Yes.
Please be sure to visit, and I know you've all registered. And I want to thank you, Mayor Nickerson. You win the prize for attending the most of my convenings. and putting all of it into practice in your lovely village. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Gloria Fonseca. I am the owner of Fonse's LLC. We are a painting and carpentry company. I have been many hours working with La Kiva in the tax force committee as a volunteer. Mayor, we know your diligence, we appreciate it, and we know that you want to change things. There are some things that I want to take, because the commissioner mentioned it, which are our needs as small business owners. And our needs are contracts. Those are our needs. The mayor and all the county is investing in small businesses, and we know that through the small division of the small businesses. We have received a lot of training, a very good training, but after that training, we need to put everything in place, and we need to take advantage of the certification that we already got. And in order to take advantage of those certifications are contracts. I was with the Commissioner Oliver last week. And I am part of the Miami-Dade Chambers of Commerce. I am the vice chair of the Advocacy Committee. We are fighting, we are working towards equality, inclusion for Miami-Dade County to think and to give more opportunities to women-owned businesses and also to Black business owners. That's what we are looking for, and also for the Latins. There are many opportunities, and thank you for hablar en español, because I think this is about diversity, and I know the country is working on that. The other thing that I want to take is about how we can get approached directly to the procurement teams. Mr. Guardia should be here because he's very helpful. I agree with you. There is no time that when we reach out to him and he doesn't respond. So we are here in order to say we have a small businesses, we need contracts. I know that the County is working on that, but we need the contract signed. And we have the experience, the credentials, and we want to use those credentials in order to become the vendors that the Miami-Dade County is looking for. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And just a reminder that we want to keep our questions to under a minute so that our panelists can answer. So please go ahead.
Good morning. My name is Ruel Miles, and I've got started in construction well over 30 years ago, and tremendous honor. So I'm going to pose the question that's probably in the room, but sometimes people don't want to say it. What are we going to do to address the bias that exists in the procurement department? There's a bias. You know, humans, we're
Okay.
biased, so we'll be biased whether it's based on color, ethnicity, familiarity. There's always something. So oftentimes you hear those acronyms and you hear small business, diversity, and immediately there's a wall that's built that says that they're less than deserving of remuneration for the tax dollars that they pay. So the question is, how do you then address that with seasoned people that are in these departments that they own what they own?
Well, I want to thank you for the question and assure you that we want to address that wherever we find it, but also proactively to address it. And that is part of why I created the first ever Office of Equity and Inclusion in my mayor's office, and Jason's involved in doing a department by department review. If you would just like to say a word about it, and I know the Vice Chairman would like to address it as well.
Yeah, certainly. So I think what we all understand is that what you're addressing is that there may be a perception against doing business with small businesses, that biased against small businesses. And what the mayor has announced today and what she is directing her staff and the entire county administration is that it's a new day in Miami-Dade County government. We embrace small businesses, we embrace local businesses, and we want to seek out new ways to do business with you. So this is a culture change, and you're hearing it very publicly from the top right here, our chief executive. And so that message is going out to all of our county staff that our small businesses, our local businesses are number one, and we want to make sure that small businesses and local businesses as our customers are treated fairly, equitably, and in a manner consistent with our values.
So I just want to add that I think in the question there was also concern about bias, maybe along racial, ethnic, gender lines. We have a very excellent implicit bias training for our police department. And one of the reasons that I created a senior advisor for public safety, Rahel Welda-Yasuz, who's in the back of the room, I saw her, oh, there she is, if you would just raise your hand again, is to focus on how we can do a better job cross-departmentally with some of our reform issues. So you might have a conversation with her as well, and to assure you that it is our intention, department by department, to look for issues of bias, not only in procurement, but in hiring and promotion. Mr. Vice Chair.
Yeah, you know, and I think the question was primarily about race, and you know, it's interesting. I think that's what the diversity study is meant to address in a formal way. And it's interesting that the mayor's going to get this done the first years of her administration. We couldn't get it done as a county in 10, 15, was it 20 years? So the fact that we are going to get it done, that would allow us to address it legally. But that's just the formal part. The informal part is this, and we're familiar with each other from Miami Gardens. Look, informally, when people are coming to the county to do business, they need to understand that the people who are making decisions right now, we actually value inclusion. We value diversity. Because we understand that the true way to create that rising tide that lifts all boats is actually to actually create wealth in different communities. And so that has to be an understanding that permeates your decision makers, and it does. Having people sit making decisions with the understanding that I believe that a more diverse, inclusive Miami-Dade County purchasing and awarding of contracts is a fairer and just place, and it creates a better Miami-Dade County. That understanding exists in me. I know it exists in a lot of my colleagues. And so with that understanding and hopefully the diversity study, we can informally and formally address what's been the perception of bias and the actual bias.
If I could just jump in. I do love the question, but one of the things I think is very amazing that levels the playing field is hard work, right? We as business owners face challenges every single day. You know, going into business, when you start 15, 25 years, it's always going to be an uphill battle, and hard work is going to be the #1 tool that we carry with ourselves. You know, as I began my journey with contracting with the county, many people here will tell you how many times they saw my face, how many times I'm asking questions, how many times I'm literally going in and knocking down the door to find the answer. So biases will exist. We're so lucky to have leadership here that will address it, but hard work will also bring you very far.
Okay, we'll have our next question. And again, we want to be brief so we can get to as many questions as possible.
It's tough for me to keep things brief, but Manny started me into the Doral Chamber of Commerce. This is Carmen Lopez, our VP and founder. We're coming on 15 years. We've never seen what we've seen now, even though we have seen support from the county. I want to reiterate that this mom and pop program works good, and that sometimes a small amount of money can rescue a business. That's what we saw with the CARES Act that you brought out. I would love to see our mayor bring out more money, and he did not. I have to criticize that. What programs can we implement, or how can we make it easier and faster to get more of those grant monies to make this process faster and the education be better? We focus on education since day one at the Doral Chamber of Commerce. How can we expedite the learning process? Because a lot of businesses don't know that you can sign up and be a vendor for the city of Doral or be a vendor for Miami-Dade County. We need more education. What's the process coming up on the educational system for the SBE and these programs?
Thank you for the great question, and I will mention that Strive 305 is a good central repository, and Danilo, if you could just stand so everybody knows what you look like, please reach out to him. That's beyond what we're doing within county procurement. But I'd like to ask if Commissioner Higgins wants to say a word. You've done a lot in this area.
Thank you so much for the question, because the pandemic actually laid bare the strengths and weaknesses of our small businesses in the county. I think FIU will tell us that 80% of the companies in our county have less than 10 employees. So they're not small businesses like by government standards. They're small businesses by anybody's standards. They're tiny. And by the way, many of them are immigrant-owned, right? And immigrant communities tend to be very fiercely independent. And independence in small business, right? You know, a small business owner, you just said it, you get up at the crack of dawn, you work all day long, you'll work late at night, you'll stay up till the middle of the night. But what we learned during the pandemic, that independence as a very small business owner was not what was needed. We need interdependence. And in our county, there are actually amazing resources that our little bitty businesses did not know about. Prospera. How many people, how many Hispanic-owned businesses in here have actually gone to any trainings put on by Prospera? 1, 2. Prospera is an incredible resource. We have, whether it's FIU's SBDC, whether it's Miami-Dade College's Scale-Up program, on and on, the county's own programs, the city's own programs. Our small businesses have often been very isolated. So one of the things I'm working on, the American Rescue Plan money actually allows funding to be spent small business programs. So the mayor and I have talked about that. What I'm doing with the allocation that's coming to District 5 is I'm creating a series of pilot programs for small businesses in my district to meet them where they are. One of the things we learned in the pandemic is if you weren't tech savvy, you couldn't apply for PPP. You couldn't apply for an EIDL loan. So we launched a series of tech academies for the very entry-level small businesses through Prospera. We have a medium-level tech academy for people that are higher up. We have scholarships that I'm putting in place for smaller business that are a little more sophisticated. They're ready to grow, to attend at Miami-Dade College. We are launching a microloan program. I see MJ back there with the Rise Miami-Dade fund for people that for businesses that need access to capital. And I've launched a few of these initiatives, and there are many others already. We're having a big kickoff of that for District 5 businesses and Small Business Week on, I think it's May 3rd. Maggie nod, is that the day? Okay, May 3rd is the day we're doing the kickoff. But my idea behind that was to take all the gaps that I identified during the pandemic where our small businesses just couldn't catch up with the medium businesses and test and pilot programs in District 5 that Danilo and Gary and the mayor could scale up countywide if they work. And then, of course, if they don't, well, we'll know they don't work on a small scale and we won't do them again. But there are needs out there. The key for all of our chambers is to continue to be interconnected to these resources, not isolated from them. And our businesses were really alone, these little ones, throughout the pandemic. And that actually, in the long run, is one of the silver linings from the pandemic. I feel like our small business our small business community is more connected, more willing to pick up the phone and say, what resources are out there? I need access to capital. I need technical training. I need help with this, that, and the other thing. And so, of course, the county is committed to testing these programs this year and then scaling them up if they are successful.
I'd like to mention as well that we had representatives of the Beacon Council, the Greater Miami Chamber, the Miami-Dade Chamber, and Convention and Visitors Bureau here. So if you all would stand, just so people could see where you are, if you don't mind. I see David is there. Okay, that's the Convention and Visitors Bureau, Chamber. Okay, so please seek these people out as well. Thank you.
We have another question in the back.
Good morning. Michelle Shirley here with Be Strong International. Madam Mayor probably knows what I'm going to ask, but to let everyone know, we've been around for 30 years now, and the nonprofit sector since 2010 has impacted Miami-Dade County with about $23 billion in revenue. We are an essential sector, and as nonprofits have had to pivot since the pandemic, I'm really concerned about us being left out in the bidding process, because now I've had to be innovative in moving into products and services, professional development. I really want to know what the county is going to do to help such an amazing, impactful sector.
Well, thank you so much. And I think many of you know I come from the nonprofit sector and care deeply and recognize the critical nature, not just from an economic perspective, as was mentioned, but taking care of our people, partnership between government, business, and the nonprofit sector. So the county spends about $13 million annually on grant funding, which has been renewed and sustained even when people were not coming into the programs. Same with the arts and culture community. The dollars continued unabated. And I will mention, just on a positive note, I don't know if you are all feeling it, but we are considered the most recovered economy in the country. So, doesn't mean we're where we need to be, but we are definitely moving in the right direction. But with that to be said, stay tuned for a reboot of the nonprofit funding approach that will include more capacity building. And of course, we do partner with others that are doing capacity building, very critical. In my office, Michelle Johnson is my lead on nonprofits and faith. Is Michelle here?
No, she's not.
Okay, so she's part of Jason's team, so let us know. And we are here for you. We recognize how critical. And I'll just mention also mental health services. You know, we all know that the stresses and strains of these last few years have been horrific on all of us, and the results are seen in increased violence, and mental health crises, and we need to be mindful, and we are, as Susan Holtzman is the lead in my office on those services, also part of Jason's team.
All right. Thank you so much, Madam Mayor. We have one question here.
She was jumping out of her seat.
She's not her hand.
For your mental health.
My name is Rachel, and I'm a small business owner called Rachel's Place. And in that place is not all that it cut out to be. One thing with Dade County, it helped me to grow my business, like the lady said over there. We grow by hard work, and you got to keep going at it. You got to keep going at it. And because I'm disabled now, I still have a business. The business is to keep going. You have to, it don't cost much. You just have to keep going. Housing is expensive. Health care, some don't have it. Also, with your exercise, physical being is not there because of the pandemic, as they all claim that we are better now. But a lot of people are not better. They're getting worse. And we need tax dollars to go towards those people that everybody forget about. You know, it's meetings and meetings. Some people can't make it to the meeting. Some people don't understand what the meeting is all about. They don't know how to get help. So I would like for Dade County to have some type of accommodation for handicaps. Thank you.
Thank you so much, yes. And as a matter of fact, we've increased our staffing at our Office of ADA, Americans with Disability Act. Across departments, we have representatives, and we are going to be revisiting our policies, and we'd love your input. Thank you. That's also Jason's office.
Broad portfolio. One more question from, yes, right here. Thank you.
Dorothy Brown Afera with Jador International Corporation and a small business advocate. Mayor, I have always had faith in you. You shattered the glass ceiling by being the first mayor, and now you have shattered it by doing something in the last 25 years in this county, since 1997, when the prompt payment ordinance and the CSBE/SBEC ordinance was in existing. You have made my dream come true by implementing prompt payment in 14 calendar days. Commissioner Jordan always categorized me as the agitator, but an agitator in a good way, by being persistent, never giving up, meeting with all of the previous commissioners, and you were the only commissioner that attended the CSBE Prompt Payment Task Force team when you were a commissioner at Miami-Dade Aviation Department. And every small business in this county, in this room, and you have created the stepping stone to implement prompt payment and track it for all small business, and that is a part that we have been missing. And I always say, like Sam Cooke is my favorite singer, A Change Is Gonna Come. I always said I wanted to make sure that I lived long enough to see that change, and you did that, Mayor. So everybody should be standing
my
up on their
goodness.
feet to say, thank you, thank you, thank you, Mayor Danielle Cava.
All
We
right.
love you.
Thank you, Dorothy. No pressure, right, guys?
So I know
make
we
it
have
work.
more questions, a lot more questions. Our staff and the mayor, commissioners, they'll stick around at the end to mingle and answer some of your questions, but we do want to give some time to the media who are in the room to ask their questions. So if you're from the Miami Herald, the Miami Times, media, please stand and we'll bring you a microphone.
Hi, Gabriela Enriquez with Miami Today newspaper. For the mayor or county staff, I would like to know, you previously mentioned in a couple of commission meetings that you're...
Could you hold up your mic? Yeah.
Yes, you previously mentioned in a couple of commission meetings that you're undergoing a study to see how many contracts have been awarded but not been executed. So I wanted to know if you already have the results of how many contracts haven't been executed or are still in the pipeline of the procurement process.
Alex, do you want to answer that? Yeah. Alex Munoz is our Director of Internal Services. That includes...
Hi, so I wanted to just understand the question. How many contracts are in the pipeline? Yeah, so I'll get back to you on that. There's hundreds of contracts in the pipeline. Actively on the solicitation side, for example, RFPs, there'll be anywhere from 50 to 70 active. Architectural and engineer will have hundreds that are active. And then beyond that, there's other types of solicitations. But I'm going to give you my card as soon as I walk out here to the right, but we can get you a report to that effect because there are hundreds of contracts, yes.
Can I say a few words on that?
Any more media questions?
We have Mr. Hanks in the back.
Hi, Doug Hanks, the Miami Herald. Question for Alex or the mayor. What rules have changed or will change because of this, or what scoring matrix have changed or will change because of this? Like, what specifically is happening besides goals?
Yeah, so thank you, Doug. Some of the things already adopted, sponsorship of the vice chair, were to increase the thresholds for set-aside contracts for small businesses. That's something that was adopted by the board recently. So those are some rules that are already in effect. And also, used to be 3 companies to be considered for a set-aside. That was lowered to 2 companies. And that's very helpful for goods and services. It really allows for more competition and inclusion. Procedurally, one of the rules, the mayor talked about it in the presentation, and this is just a nuts and bolts kind of thing. Some of us get together and look at the scope of contracts as they're being developed from the get-go, from the beginning. That's allowing us to make sure that contracts and solicitations are not put out in a way that they limit competitions for small and local businesses. That's something we could talk about more if you like. In terms of rules, we really are looking at the operational items within the mayor's purview and trying to expedite everything that's within her purview so that we can make the system, as the mayor described here today, more accessible and more inclusive. But the plan does include a lot more detail than that in terms of timing, efficiency, speed, and worker conditions are one of the things that we're looking at specifically to your question in terms of evaluating proposals and also people that perform business on county land. One thing is contracting with us, and the other one is people that also work on county land, making sure that the worker conditions are something that is treating their workers with dignity and respect.
So just to summarize one part of it, it's what's put in the solicitation, for starters, which we have discretion over, and I would like Jason to add some more to it, if you wouldn't mind. Anything else? You're good. Okay, and
I'll just speak up a little bit. So the question was, what are we seeing from, thank you, what are we seeing from the policies and procurement and how that is affecting the small businesses now? There has been a tremendous opportunity for the small business community that was recently put together. spearheaded by Gary Hartfield, the Small Business Division, and under the mayor's leadership, to open up a contract, as gentleman here mentioned, for office supplies. This is a major contract. There's millions that goes into procurement that has been, handled by very large, big box corporations. So in order to bring that home, to have that opportunity here to participate in that contract is tremendous. Why? Because, we have the opportunity to ramp up our staffing. We have the opportunity to engage logistics, warehousing, all the small things where we can incorporate other small businesses here in Miami-Dade County. So we are feeling those effects now, Mayor. It is tremendous in how we're able to ramp that up. So I just wanted to let him know that we're feeling it now.
Yeah, so that's the breaking up of contracts. So basically looking at the procurement, we did pull back procurement and reissue on a couple of occasions to be able to do that. And also the recent living wage payment scale for nursing assistants in our Public Housing and Community Development Department. So that was something that we did based on values-based procurement. Did you want to add to that, Commissioner?
No, I wanted you to mention that we, the mayor looked at some of the older procurements where people were, in her opinion, and I agree with her opinion, were not being paid appropriately nor benefited or with appropriate benefits, pulled those back, reissued them, made the competition fair so that it's not just on price, it's also how you treat human beings. And then we just last week at the commission approved one of those renewed procurements. So just again, it's another sense of values-based procurement. We are spending the people's money on services that people need, and the people doing the work are the people that we represent. And so from start to bottom, how you enter our procurement process and wherever you are matters.
I just want to add that we are part of something called the Anchor Alliance. It's for large institutions that have the ability, as we do in the county, to gear their procurement to these values. And the Health Foundation of South Florida is here represented. Where's our president, CEO? She was here earlier. So it's something that you might want to check out. There'll be a shared website where major hospitals, universities, and governments, and some of our cities, we hope you'll join this Anchor Alliance so that you too can post what you're doing that will really benefit local business particularly. That's the focus of the Anchor Alliance.
Yes. And with that, we would like to thank you all for coming out to the mayor's announcement of her values-based procurement changes. We know that nothing happens without you. We look forward to continue to working with you.
Very low.
Yes, very low.